Well, may the Force be with us today as Andor Episode 7 just premiered, and coming off last week's episode, which I contend is one of the best episodes of Star Wars, live action, animation, whatever you want to say. Last week was phenomenal, and I continue to be sucked into this show, the world that is being saturated and created, and truly enough, the underbelly of the Star Wars universe that I have really wanted. I mean, we got fucking prostitution in this episode. Like, literally, Cassian Andor is counting his money while there is a prostitute in the other room, which is crazy to think, and he's on to her, and there's a lot to talk about, but this is an episode that is a great epilogue to last week, as well as starting to move along the story a little bit more. We get name drops of the Emperor Palpatine in here, which is why he's on the thumbnail. Anytime you mention the Palpatine, I wouldn't be shocked if we actually get to see him. Like, maybe not this season, but next season. I also wouldn't be shocked if we get to see Krennic or Darth Vader. I think these are things coming down the road that will just play into the entire Imperial role. Because as it comes down in this show, before we start talking about Andor, I do want to talk about these side characters. First off, let's get Seville out of the way. I think that's his name. Say his name, I could be completely wrong. The guy with the long necked coat sort of thing. He's an interesting character, and I put him in the thumbnail as well for this week because the one thing that I'm interested in is to see how his character is going to pay off. He was very heavily influenced character earlier on, and he's kind of been dealing with this retribution, and I feel like he is one of those characters that's kind of ticking. How is he going to tie in this? How is he going to build up? They're focusing in on him for a reason, and I'm very excited to see where that calculation goes and where his story ends up going and where we end up seeing that go. So that's that, specifically because now he has a new job and where that might play in. I'm waiting to see what that new job kind of brings about, but we also get a little bit more of the Imperial, and she is very, very interesting because we're seeing this round table of them all and how they're trying to kind of come to terms with this rebellion that, you know, she is the one that is kind of seeing that this wasn't just a robbery. This was an announcement for what is going on, which is the truth. Like, that singular thing we saw last week was the start of the rebellion. And now we're seeing everyone squirm and run, things on different planets starting to kind of run, and people feeling like they can rebel, people seeing hope again in the galaxy. But the Imperial are squirming, and she's coming up with these ideas. But we also, what I'm starting to predict is that there's some people in there where it's every man for themselves, no matter if we're on the same team. When her boss pretty much said, watch your back. Because the truth is that there could be people there who are either with the rebellion, who will stop her, or other Imperials who do not want her to win. Because it's that jealousy. They want to be on top. And it's that political scheming that I'm really loving in here, and it's something that I think George Lucas heavily wanted to bring into the Star Wars universe back within The Phantom Menace. And even back in A New Hope, I think he tried to bring elements of that, of course, with Princess Leia and sort of things that with her, but he never really got to bring them much into. And I think what we're seeing here with what Gilroy was really able to bring in here in our writing capacity is something that is very influential to Star Wars itself, and I'm very impressed with that, as well as the way that I'm impressed with Andor. I love this character development, and in fact, what I plan on doing right after Andor is going back and rewatching Rogue One and doing a video essay series called, and I did it with Avatar a couple weeks back, but I'm going to be doing Rogue One in 2022, and I'm going to be doing a dissection on Rogue One itself, because I'm not huge on Rogue One. I like it a lot, in fact, but I don't love it, but I'm loving Andor, and I'm hoping Andor kind of piques that interest a little bit more for Rogue One. But speaking on Cassian himself, kind of seeing where he is after this, you know, he doesn't want to be a part of the rebellion. I mean, you see Stellan Skarsgård is so excited for what he's been doing, and, you know, Mon Mothma, and part of that conversation, just when she walks into the shop and their conversation that they're having, and where that continues, and you see the kind of like what she's trying to do. You know, he's like, I'm trying to raise money. You can't just keep trying to dip into your family's accountant, but she's working her own scheming. It's all that scheming everywhere. And now we see where Andor's coming from, because he was a major part of that success. And we see that he has the money. He's trying to get his ma away from this and get her away. But you see that she's inspired by what this attack had done. She sees hope for once. And she mentioned something that we see a little bit of a flashback of someone who's important to Andor's life being hung, which is incredibly depressing and brings about that peak of it all. And now that stormtroopers are back in that locale, you know, he meets up with Bix and he has that great conversation with her. And it's all these things that point Andor that he should go back and help what is being done. But he's trying to run away from that. He's trying to run away from his problems. What he is trying to do is just get away and live his life. He has the money to live that. And when he goes to his vacation spot, he's living it. He's hooking up. He's has the money. And even then, he still is grabbed. He still is bagged. And he is taken and put into a 6-year prison. Which is cool that we got to see a KX droid. I love that. And I can't wait to see when K2SO eventually joins into the group. I don't think it'll be this season. I have a feeling it'll probably be like the very end of the season, if not the very beginning of next season. But that's where this episode ends at. It's him going to jail for 6 years. And I don't imagine that'll continue, but what I imagine will happen is a prison break. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but what this show's been so good at is establishing 3-episode arcs. And if we're getting that 3-episode arc, you know, when it comes down to episode 9, it could be a big one. And I think that's just where I go as far as say, I love the writing in this show so much. I love the cinematography. I love the storytelling. I love the performances. And I love talking about this show. It's the most mature Star Wars series, and honestly some of the most mature Star Wars content that we've ever gotten so far. And I think once we see the entire full picture of the 12 episodes in just season 1, we are going to absolutely, completely see where every single storyline was intertwined. And then when we get season 2, it's going to be a completely different dynamic, because they said every 3 episodes for season 2 will be different, and a time jump. I'm so in love with the show, and I can't wait to see your guys' thoughts. So thank you so much again for watching this. If you're crazy as me to stay up towards midnight to watch these, I do appreciate you guys. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment down below your guys' thoughts, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with us all.